rubber band. 10, 9,
8,
7,
6, 5,
4, 3, 2,
Prepare for takeoff.
1. Whoa!
We were hooked. We flew that little toy so much that it broke.
You broke it.
Guilty, I broke it. But it inspired us to dream of building something bigger, something that could carry people. As we got older, we became obsessed with flight. We read everything we could find about birds, gliders, and aerodynamics.
Back then, there wasn't much to read. I mean, human beings had been grappling with the flying problem for thousands of years. But in our heyday, aerodynamics was just a fancy word for falling in style.
So we studied gliders built by aeronautical pioneers like Otto Lilienthal. He was the German engineer who made over 2,000 glider flights.
Unfortunately, his last flight didn't end so well.
That's why it was his last flight. Herr Lilienthal, we hardly knew you.
There!
Where?
There!
So there. That's why we wanted to focus on control. We knew that a flying machine without a system of control was just a foul waiting to happen.
A folder-on? We'll not have that kind of language in here. No malarkey either. Yes, you see? No malarkey. But my brother, of course, being a Wright, he's always right. And we did need to develop a system of control.
Control.
Control. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, a system of control is so important. In addition to a system of control, what other requirements are needed for flight? Anybody in the house? What other requirements do we need to fly?
Lift.
Motivation.
Anyone else? Lift.
Thrust and control.
Lift. Thrust. Control. Lift. Thrust. Control. Lift. Thrust. Control.
And gravity. That's it. Gravity, what a downer, right?
But without gravity, we'd all be flying. I'm flying. Look at me, way up high, suddenly, here am I, I'm flying.
Okay, all right, thank you, Peter Pan. Folks, as you can tell by now, my brother is prone to flights of musical fancy.
By 1900, we were ready to test our gliders full scale. We needed strong winds for takeoff, soft sands for landing, and isolation to work in peace.
And so we chose Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, on the mid-Atlantic coast that had all of that, and then mosquitoes the size of chickens. Chickens? You remember Uncle Ernie?
Oh yeah, what a funny guy.
It was funny, but in the end it was so sad. He thought he was a chicken.
Say, why didn't we have him sent away?
Well, Dad would have, but we needed the eggs! Oh. Speaking of Kitty Hawk, friends, it had everything we could use.
Yes, in our early gliders, they had some success, but we realized we needed better scientific data if we were going to get this right.
Yes. Kitty Hawk had everything we could use. We didn't have food delivery service.
No. This is before. We invented one of the world's first wind tunnels.
Oh, yes.
This was revolutionary.
1901, we built our own wind tunnel.
Yes.
It was one of the first in the world.
This was revolutionary.
Revolutionary!
With it, we tested over 200 wing designs to determine which would create the most lift. and discovered that a capered shape was the key. Our early gliders were experimental.
Translation, they crashed a lot.
Right. But every crash taught us something new. Like how to get sand out of places you didn't know control.
And how to apologize to the locals for knocking down their fences and scaring the children.
And you're right, Will. It did have everything we need, except for food delivery service.
Delivery service.
I hear that's quite the thing these days.
Well, actually, we maintained a steady diet that was simple, nutritious, robust, and cheap. Beans! And of course, beans led to a great many experiments with the wind.
Back to our wind machine.
I think we were very happy that Kitty Hawk had such excellent ventilation.
After a few rounds of gliders, we were ready to move on to the Wright flyer. We built it out of spruce wood, muslin fabric, and ingenuity.
And bicycle parts. Don't forget the bicycle parts.
Right. We used a bicycle chain to connect the engine to the propellers, which we carved ourselves, by Jove.
Speaking of engines, we couldn't find one light enough, so we built our own.
And by we, he means our mechanic, Charlie Taylor.
Charlie Taylor.
Charlie's out there tonight.
Charlie
It's
tonight.
over my head.
Charlie Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. Now that's fine. Yes, Charlie is proof that you should always hire someone smarter than yourself. It's a sure strategy for success.
And every little mishap taught us something new. We tweaked our wing shapes. We added a rear rudder, and we developed a 3-axis control system to control the aircraft yaw, pitch, and roll. And of course, thanks to me for tightening the bolts.
I tightened the bolts.
Are you sure, brother?
I'm positive, otherwise you'd still be picking splinters out of your teeth. Folks, if you've ever flown on a modern airplane, you can have us to thank for the Wright brothers. Indeed.
December the 17th, 1903, the big day. I remember it well. Yes, lively windy it was, seasonably chilly and a bit overcast. But for us, they were the perfect conditions to achieve flight that morning in the Hill Level Hills, North Carolina.
We flipped a coin to decide who would go first.
And I won. I flew for 12 glorious seconds.
That was about 120 feet. Folks, it's the distance of a decent sneeze, for crying out loud.
Yes,
But then-
But it was the first powered controlled flight of a fixed wing aircraft in human history.
So it was, Orville, here's your medal. Then it was my turn, and I flew even further. Ladies and gentlemen,